Well, we know how important coffee is to our lives. It's booming in the UAE. It's not just the instant coffee or Arabic coffee, but Neil, there's just seems to be a continuation or continual growth of specialty coffee roasters around the country.
I totally agree with you. Every time you go around and to any part of the city, you realize that there is a new coffee shop that's come up. And every time you enter a new place, there is a new specific coffee that you want to try because there is so much to offer.
Well, despite the UAE's coffee market growing annually by about 8.5%, there's a looming risk of oversaturation that actually could destabilise the industry. One of the leaders in the coffee market is the Raw Coffee Company, and we're delighted that the CEO, Matt Toogood, is joining us via Zoom this afternoon. Matt, thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon, guys. Thank you for having me.
The coffee market in the UAE, it's changed so much. You've been here quite a long time at Raw Coffee, where you've been one of the market leaders. How have you seen in your time the tastes and people's desires and the industry change over your period in Dubai?
Yeah, so I mean, we're 18 years old next month, which is a little scary to find out that we've been going for that long. But we've seen a huge change. What we're seeing is that people were looking for a better quality product. So they realized that they're going to spend a lot. If you're talking about dollars, people are paying $6 to maybe $7 for a cup of coffee these days. So they started to demand higher quality, especially post-COVID. We all got locked in our houses for a couple of months and we had to make our own coffee. So people realized that they could actually do a better job. And so that was positive. That was really, really good to see that. But you're right. We're seeing a massive amount of new cafes opening and new roasteries open, which should be good if you're a coffee roaster like me, right?
Well, indeed. But Matt, tell us, coffee primarily, anyone and everyone who consumes coffee knows that there are primarily two types of beans, right? How does the specialty coffee market then try and maneuver around the two big giants of the coffee industry?
Well, this is the really interesting thing, and this is what's concerning me right now. I think that the consumer is being sort of duped in a little way, right? So what we're calling specialty coffee is often not related to the coffee. It's related to the experience.
Right.
So, we've got some amazing places here. We've got some beautiful coffee shops. But when you go in there, the coffee doesn't often meet or isn't the same quality level as the chandelier or the chair that you're sitting on.
Matt, are you trying to say that part of Dubai is all show and no go? Tell me that's not the case.
I'd never say that. But this is where the problem lies, because look, we run a coffee shop ourselves, a relatively big one, and I don't think that people realize that they're not a cash cow, right? If you are doing a very good job of running a coffee shop, you can expect between 3 and 5% net profit per annum.
Okay.
That's it. Right? So what do you think that these coffee shops are doing in order to manage their costs as much as they possibly can? They're buying the cheapest quality products that they possibly can. So what's happening is that when the pressure comes on, because I've now got a cafe that's right next to me who's taken 20% of my customers, so I'm trying to reduce my cost. So what I do is I buy a cheaper quality coffee, and I hope that my customers don't notice it.
I'm just trying to think. So, Matt, is there almost a need for some sort of a system where you're a 4-star roaster or someone's a 5-star roaster, like we have with restaurants? People often talk about how there's you're got a Michelin star. Could you foresee something like that happen within coffee, that you're a 3-bean roaster and someone else is a 2?
Yeah, I think that there is that, but the biggest single challenge when it comes to coffee is that there is so many things that you have to get correct in order to make a good cup of coffee. So not only has the farmer done the right job, that the person who's processed the coffee's done the right job, it hasn't been damaged in transit, the roaster's roasted it correctly, but then the barista actually has to make it the right way. And, with all these variables going into play, you could have the world's best coffee made badly. It's still going to be a bad cup of coffee. So I think what it is, it's going to be down to the consumer, right? The consumer has to say, when they pick up that coffee, this doesn't taste like 30 dirhams. I'm not happy with this. And the other thing that I'd love to see is that if you have a really good quality coffee, you do not have to add milk and sugar to it. So that's a really good indicator.
Yeah, don't tell Starbucks though.
Yeah. I tell you what, I wish I'd bought shares in the sweetened condensed milk.
Look, it's so true, isn't it? And you look at the consumer trends, and there is a market, particularly in a lot of even East Asian countries, of needing to put the sprinkles and the caramel swizzle and all those sort of things into the coffee. But whilst there is that rise, there is the rise of people that are looking for a good drip filter or a good espresso. 18 years you've been here, raw coffee's always stood out as one of the leaders in the field of coffee. But for someone who wants to make a good cup of coffee for friends when they come over at home, what's the best bet? Is it a pod machine? Is it French press? What's your advice for people that are looking to set up a good cost-effective system in their house?
The best way to get the best result at home is to use one of the hand brewing techniques. So the number one rule, grind your coffee literally just before you're going to make it.
Yeah, okay.
So even buy a little hand grinder, or I have a hand grinder at home and I use my electric drill on the top because I'm lazy. So, the grinding freshness is going to mean, so that beautiful aroma when you first grind coffee that wafts out, you want to capture that and put that in the cup.
Yeah.
So never buy ground coffee because it's already stale. So grind fresh and then use one of the hand brewing techniques that every coffee shop in Dubai, the baristas behind the bar would love to teach people how to use, because it's really, really simple. Takes a couple of minutes at home. It becomes a ritual. And then you're going to get a fantastic coffee. Then you're also going to tell the quality of the coffee as well, because you will be able to taste every note in the flavors.
But I'm sure that, when you're doing all of these things, it all goes back to the basics of picking up the right bean. Not
Correct.
everyone understands what should be the combination, or should it be just 100% Arabica, 100% Robusta, or a combination of them, and at what is the roasting, the degree of roasting. So how do you go about picking the beans then?
So if the coffee shop or the roastery that you're going to buy your beans, the team there, who, if they have spent the effort to go and be involved with the farmer or being involved in the process, they're going to be like me. They're going to want to talk about it. So if you've got people who have no idea what beans they're using, no idea where it came from, you'll probably find that the quality isn't very good.
Right.
It's just that simply like that. But the other thing is, if you're going to order a Spanish latte, if you're going to put 60 grams of sweetened condensed milk in your coffee, then really don't buy good coffee. You're wasting your money. You're paying for the ambience of the place that you're sitting in. You're not paying for coffee. And this is the unfortunate thing, is that a lot of places have started to realize that their customer doesn't really know what they're looking for, and so they're using a lower quality grade. But the big challenge that we've got is that we are actually desperately wanting customers who ask the questions that you have. We want people to come in and ask us, how do we do this? What's the best? Because, for example, at the moment, we have 38 different coffees. Now, one coffee you might not like because it might be super fruity, or it might have notes of it, but you might be a person who likes dark chocolate flavors.
Right.
And you don't like the flavors of lemon and apricot. So coffees can give you such a diverse range of flavors. It's important that you ask the person who's roasted it what are the flavors that you're going to note in that coffee, and they should be able to tell you, because that's what our job is.
So that's the best way. If you're in a new coffee place and you're thinking, I don't want to have to spend 22 dirhams and it not be any good, ask a few questions. Like if you go to the butcher and you ask, where was the meat grown or anything, you can tell by the answer whether the quality is going to be good.
Absolutely. And it's you've hit the nail on the head. You go anywhere and you ask somebody, if that product is quality, they'll know everything about it because they've spent a lot of money procuring it and getting it for you.
Well, for many people, they do regard the Royal Coffee Company as the best in the UAE. Matt, congratulations on your success, but also for people like me, providing great coffee for us. It's a community service you do. It's not just a business. And lastly, before you go, we're calling our World Cup cricket final tomorrow. As a Kiwi, I won't ask you how your team went. Any thoughts? South Africa versus India? Who are you supporting?
To be honest, India.
Oh, yeah.
India is, yeah. I think that India deserves to take it away this year.
It's about the underdog, surely, Matt.
See, good coffee and good selection in the team. Matt's got it right.
Well done, Matt. Congratulations on your success, and thank you for joining us this afternoon on Talk 100.3.
Thanks very much for the opportunity, guys.
So there is Matt Toogood, the CEO of the Royal Coffee Company, and isn't that interesting? People. It's not just for the coffee purists. Sometimes you want to go in, beautiful marble floors and the scenery, but then you've got to remember, it's like when someone said to me when you're traveling to a new city, if you can see the water from where you're eating, you're probably paying too much for the food.
See, this is what it is. That perception drives a lot of your selection.
Yeah.
But if you really know where it's coming from, and if the answers are good, then the product definitely has to be good.
If you've got any thoughts on where is the best coffee in the UAE or in Dubai, let us know. 0586861